For this video, we're going to be talking about shipping options, how to get your stuff from your home country over here to the Philippines. I just want to start off by saying that I'm from the United States, so the methods of shipping that I have looked into and done research are just from the United States. I'm going to assume that similar shipping options are also available from other countries, but I don't know the details on exactly what type of companies you would go to or where those would be located. You're just going to have to do a little bit of research. But essentially, what you're going to be looking at is you're going to have two options for your shipping. You've got your standard air shipping, which is going to be very expensive. And then you're going to have your cargo shipping, which is going to be done by ocean cargo ships. So if it's going by air, one of the reasons why it's so expensive is because on aircraft, weight is precious commodity. So your boxes that you're shipping, they're going to be pricing it not just based on the dimensions of the box, but also on its weight. On the other hand, when you're looking at putting it into shipping containers, so all these ships that go, they're loading up shipping containers. And what they're going to do is they're going to take this entire shipping container and they're going to load it up with all of these different boxes from different people. When the shipping container is full, they load it onto a ship and it's transported over by ocean. Because it's in a shipping container, weight does not matter. So as long as whatever is inside of that box, as long as the box itself is structurally sound, it's not going to bulge, it's not going to break. If you lift the box up, the stuff's not going to just fall out of the bottom of it and rip the bottom open. As long as the contents in the box are still secured by the box itself, weight does not matter. So that essentially means the best way to ship your stuff is going to be by ocean. There might be a few items that you have that you need right away that you might want to send it by air later, but typically it's going to be by ocean. As far as the time frames, from the West Coast United States, the time that it would have taken to ship something by air was 1, maybe 2 weeks tops. That's including all the time it takes to go through customs, immigration, and whatever. By shipping it on a cargo ship, the transit time alone was around 44, 45 days. But that doesn't mean that's how long it's going to take. Again, they are not going to ship it until that entire shipping container is full. If you've only got 5, 6 boxes out of this huge shipping container, they're going to wait for other people shipping it to fill up that container. So it could take 1, maybe 2 weeks before that shipping container is full enough for them to ship it out. So you might be looking at 1.5 months for the actual transit time, but then another week to 2 weeks of them filling it up before it's shipped out. And then once it arrives at port, they have to unload it, bring it to a warehouse, and figure out where all the stuff has to go. So it can easily be 2 months. Really, what we're looking at as far as the shipping companies that do these services, you're going to be looking up something called a balakbayan box. Balakbayan is a term for Filipinos that are currently living and residing outside of the Philippines. Traditionally, this is going to be your OFWs, overseas foreign workers. And what a lot of them like to do is, say you have an OFW that's a nurse working at a hospital in the United States, they'll take these boxes and just fill it up with random stuff. Could be some clothing they bought at the store, could be some different food items, chips and candies and chocolates, could be cooking utensils. I mean, just whatever random item they want to throw into these boxes, they'll pack all this stuff up and then send it home. Either they're sending it home for themselves, they're saying this is stuff I want, so when I move back to the Philippines, I have this. Or a lot of times, they're just sending it as gifts to friends, family members, stuff like that. But you're going to be able to go in, you're going to find different shipping companies that specialize in shipping these balakbayan boxes to the Philippines. So they're going to take all this stuff, and because they're all going to be going over into Manila, it doesn't take that long for a huge pile of boxes from all these people to pile up at a center. You want to go through and find the boxes that are going to meet your size requirements. Again, the dimensions are all that matter, not the weight. And when you're packing up these boxes, it's not just going to be, oh, you get a cardboard box, throw it full of some stuff, put some tape over it, and you're good. There are a lot of tutorials out there on YouTube or in websites that give you really good information on how you should properly secure these boxes, such as wrapping every inch of the outside with packing tape. This will help not only make sure the box is structurally sound, resist punctures, tears, crushing, but it also helps to waterproof the cardboard material, so it's going to be on a shipping container. You want to make sure that moisture and everything's not going to be damaging and rotting away the cardboard. But that's essentially what we're looking at doing. Now, there is going to be some logistics issues depending on where you live and where the shipping depot is located. For example, I was in Oregon. So in Oregon, the shipping depot for the company I was using, Forex, they're in Clackamas, Oregon, right outside of Portland, Oregon. They're on the north portion of the state. I lived in southern Oregon. It's about a 9-hour drive through multiple mountain passes and stuff just to get up there to the shipping center. But you've got to figure out, how are you going to get all these big ass heavy boxes to the shipping center? Once they're at the shipping center, yeah, weight doesn't matter. But if you're going to ship these boxes from your home to the shipping center, FedEx, UPS, whatever, weight matters. So it's going to get costly. A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll just go and spend the $30, whatever it costs, to rent a U-Haul truck. Load that U-Haul up with all these boxes, drive it up to the shipping center, unload all the boxes, and go back home. But different countries might have different options, different ways you can do it, and it really is going to depend on how much stuff you're going to be shipping. One thing that I have seen people do, I don't know how much it costs, is people will rent an entire shipping container just for themselves. So they'll get this big ass shipping container parked in the street, in front of their house, and they'll start loading it up with boxes, furniture, pretty much whatever they want to ship over. And now they've got this entire shipping container, and it doesn't matter how full or, they're just paying for that container itself. I would imagine this is going to be fairly expensive, but if you have a lot of stuff, if you have big stuff, if you're committed to shipping your bed, your dresser, and whatever other random furniture, yeah, that shipping container is going to be your only option. Personally though, my suggestion is the cost to ship this container with all of this stuff, not going to be worth it. Something else you need to be really considering when you are shipping items is certain items, depending on their classification, their category, as well as their declared value, you might be hit with an importation or duty fee. So say you spend $100 to ship one box. It's $100 to go to your home in the Philippines. That's it. But when you list what's inside the box, say you put, oh, I've got a laptop that's worth $800, I've got this and this and that, and I've got, and your total value declared on this box, inside, you've got a couple items on there that are well over the $500 mark. What's going to happen is when that goes into the Philippines and it goes through customs, they're going to be like, oh, a $600 laptop. Well, we're going to charge you $500 import fee. So different items that you are shipping over there, if you declare it a certain value, or if it's like you're declaring a lot of brand new electronics, things they think that you might be importing for the purpose of reselling, they're going to hit you with those import fees. It's not like you're going to have insurance on these boxes. It's not like, well, I've got, $800 worth in the box, so I'm going to declare the value of $1,000. That way, if something happens to the box, insurance will pay me $1,000 to replace the stuff. Doesn't really work that way. So my personal opinion is, if you're going to be bringing anything that's electronics or value, don't declare its actual value. Just write it, like if you've got an old laptop that you're sending, just write it off as, used laptop, value, $150 or something. That way the value that you're declaring isn't going to be that expensive, so that there's less of a chance they're going to hit you with those stamps. Mostly though, there's not a whole lot of electronic devices. I would even recommend you ship in that manner. Again, it's going to be in a cargo container for a couple months. It's just not the best thing. If you've got a laptop, bring it in your aircraft, in your carry-on bag, right? Bring a laptop bag. If it's going to be something like another type of appliance or something like that, if it's kind of small, as long as you've secured it well and wrapped it and everything, okay. But you also have to realize, just make sure you are going to meet the voltage requirements. You're not going to have to mess around with adapters. And just like we talked about before, don't try to send stuff that are easy and within reasonable price to reacquire. If you've got a really nice microwave, okay, you really like that microwave, it's nice. You can probably get another one while you're here, and the price isn't going to be that much. Might not be the exact same brand or model, but you're going to get something similar. It's a microwave, right? It's not rocket science. It's not going to be some high-end, you know, zoo kind of stuff. It's a microwave. Buy what you can get here. If you've got a really high-end electric razor, it's small enough, bring it in your damn carry-on. Don't worry about putting it in a box. So in your box, you're going to have all these different things. You're going to learn how to secure things properly. For me personally, what I did is all the stuff that I brought, I had all these heavy-duty Glad trash bags. They're the type that have almost like an elastic material that's woven into the bag, so that if you take something sharp inside the trash bag and you're packing it full, the bag will stretch instead of tear. I took a bunch of these and different items that I was going to be shipping. I put it inside of these bags. I vacuum sealed them out, used some twist ties to make sure that they were sealed off airtight, cut the end of the excess off. And now everything that's being packed into a box, the boxes themselves, fully every inch of the outsides wrapped with heavy duty clear packing tape. So the box is completely waterproof and structurally sound. The boxes themselves, I was able to go to Home Depot. These were double lined, like double wall, big, large shipping boxes. All this stuff that's going inside of these boxes, it's packed into a way that it's not going to be worried about fragiles being on the top, bottom, sides. Anything fragile was extra wrapped with bubble wrap, and it's in the middle of everything, which is other stuff. Using packing material like bubble wrap, newspaper, those air pillows you get for shipping. It's like a little air baggie. You know, using whatever you can that's not going to take up too much of the interior space, but it's going to help with the cushioning. You're just going to learn different ways to pack your stuff in there. But once it's all in there and it's sealed up, you're going to think to yourself, if this box has got to sit somewhere for 6 months, the stuff inside is still going to be okay. It's not going to get all nasty. It's not going to get mildew. It's going to be okay. It doesn't matter if it's electronics or clothes or utensils, whatever it is, it's going to be okay even for an extended period of time. And then you're packing these boxes up and you get ready to ship them out. One thing you need to be considering as well as you're not going to be able to ship your stuff when you're getting ready to leave, because more than likely you do not have a permanent address here in the Philippines yet. When you arrive here, you're going to be spending a few weeks going out, doing your house hunting, trying to find a place you're going to live, getting moved in, settled in. So it's going to be a while after you get here before you even know where to send those boxes. So you want to find a family member or a friend that is knowledgeable of the shipping process enough that they can hold on to those boxes for you. When you do have your address, you can give them the money, give them your address, and they can deal with it. The other option, which might work a little bit better, is to get a hold of the shipping company that you intend to use and tell them, I'm going to be moving. It might be a month before I know my permanent address. Can I leave my stuff here with you guys at your warehouse and pay you a storage fee for like the month or whatever? And then when it's time for me to ship it, I just pay you guys and then you ship it over. A lot of places are more than okay with having, you know, some boxes there. As long as you're going to pay that storage fee, whatever, they'll hold on to it for a couple months. And then when you're ready, you can just go in online or however you're going to pay them. You pay them and then they ship it over. That's going to be your better option. You also need to be thinking about whatever you're shipping over. Once you get here, it's going to be a few months before you have those items. So plan ahead. Think about what you're going to be packing with you. You know, we're going to be doing the next video on your luggage packing list. But think about anything that you have that you might just absolutely have to have right when you get there. You might have to bring an extra suitcase, pay extra for that, just to have those couple items brought with you right away instead of being shipped over. I still don't recommend airmail just because, again, you don't know what your address is going to be yet, and then once you get here, still to have to ship something over by air might only take a week or two, but it's going to be very expensive. So it's just a lot cheaper to go out and buy an extra suitcase and pay the 70 whatever dollars it might cost you for that extra suitcase. So that pretty much should cover shipping options. As far as United States go, I had done research into several companies that do the Balak Beyond type shipping to the Philippines. I'm going to include links in the description to those companies. The first company I'm going to link is Forex, because that's a company that I'm going through, and to me, I've just found that they have a lot more additional services. They're a good company. But what you choose to use just depends on which country you live in, what part of that country you live in. I mean, if you live in the Midwest, you're nowhere near an ocean, you got to make sure you've got some kind of a shipping company that's not too far from where you live. But I'll try to get those links in there. You're just going to have to do some research and see what your options are, look at pricing, and this is where you're going to be thinking more about all the stuff that you've got. You're going to have to decide what to keep and what to get rid of. And part of that is, okay, I've got to send this stuff, and like one large box is going to be maybe $100. Can I get my stuff to fit in these boxes? And how much is it going to cost? Like, is it really worth keeping this item knowing I'm going to have to ship it? Or, I don't know. So you're going to have to be thinking about that. And hopefully this is useful information. If you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. Thanks.